So in this video we are going to discuss about this strong and brave lady named as Joan of Arc. This girl who saved the France during the 100 years of the war that was fought between the England and the France. We will discuss in detail the contribution in the history of France about this lady who is later known as Joan of the Arc. Okay, so before moving, let us first discuss about the backgrounds that the time when France was in trouble. It was a time when 100 years war was going on between the England and France. And as you all know, by this terms that is 100 years war. Okay, this war was basically being fought for the many years, but in the early 1400 England captured a large part of the France, and that's why many French people lost their hope. There are few other reasons as well that why French people lost their hope, and the main reason was the French prince who later in the history known as Charles VII of the France. Okay, now he was designated as a king, but yet he did not become the king. Why? Because his enemies, that means England, control much of the territory of the French country, and that's why Charles VII of the France were not able to ascend the throne. And in this particular time French needed a hero, and that hero came or turned to be a teenage girl of the 17 years old. Now let us first know something about the Joan of Arc. Then we will discuss about her contribution in the French history. So Joan of Arc was born in 1412 in the small French village called Domremy, and obviously she was coming from a very poor family. And one most important thing, that he had never trained as a soldier, but she contributed a lot as a soldier. Now, when she was about 13-year old, she heard some voices, and that voices of a saint telling her that help save France and make Charles the Seventh the king. At first, nobody believed. Why? Because she was a teenage and she was a young village girl who was not trained as a soldier, right? So people started to questioning about her ability, about her capacity. But later she became a leader. When she was at the age of 17, he traveled to meet the Charles, and she convinced him that she can save the France. She was given then armor and also allowed the accompany of the French army. Okay, although if you look at the background, you will see that she was not a military commander in the modern sense, but her courage and faith inspired the soldiers, and they fought valiantly. But there is a time of the turning point. In 1429, what happened? The English were attacking the city of Orleans. Then John encouraged the French troops, and the most important thing, that they won the important siege of the Orleans. It means here English were defeated and they can't capture the city of Orleans, and this boost the morale of the soldier as well as John of the Arc, because this victory changed the mood of the entire country. And now the French people began to believe that yes, France could also win the war. Okay, then soon afterward, what happened? Charles was crowned as King Charles VII, but in 1430, John was captured by the enemy allied with the England, and later on she put on a trial and accused of crime against the church. Okay, you know, the most sentimental factor in the world is religion. Okay, now at that time also the most sentimental factor was obviously was the religion. So she accused of the crime against the church, and in 1431 When she was only 19-year old, she was burned at the stake in the city of Rome. Okay. Now what happened later? Many years later, another court declared that John had been an innocent lady, and in 1920 the Catholic Church made her a saint. Okay. Then why should we remember Joan of Arc? Because she was only a teenage girl who boosted the morale of the French soldier, and the French soldiers captured the city of the Orleans that was going in the hands of the English. Okay, and that ultimately led to the victory against the English, and she gave hope to the defeated country. And apart from this, she also showed extraordinary courage and determination. That is why history remember, or particularly French history remember, Joan of Arc and her contribution in the French history, and how he saved French during the 100 Years of War, and he also helped the Charles VII to ascend the throne as well. Okay, so if you like this type of video, then subscribe this channel, like the video, and also share with fellow aspirant who are interested in such kind of, you can say, history, right? So let's meet in another video, and if you want the video on any other topic that you desire for, then let me know in the comment section as well.